Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, we are going to be talking about Isom issue number 1, and this is actually going to be a spoiler review. If you have read Isom or you just don't care about spoilers, make sure to continue watching. We're going to have some fun talking about in-depth Isom issue number 1. I do have a spoiler-free review if you have not read this book, so make sure to check that out if you have not read it. I'm much more vague there, and I'm also going to talk more about the synopsis and everything in that issue, so make sure to check that video out. So in my other review, I was talking about Avery going to Fontano's place, right? His club, to find Jasmine. That's the whole synopsis really is. He's looking for Jasmine essentially. He's asking where Darren is because they apparently go way back, right? So he knows who it is and he thinks Darren will know him if he sees him. So that's kind of his like plan or whatever. He says in everything he doesn't really have a plan. I mentioned in my other review that I really enjoyed the action in here, especially that first like scene right up until I'm gonna show you guys right up until like my favorite part of this book is probably the first half, maybe even like the first quarter of it. I'll tell you like my favorite part of it is actually whenever he meets Yaira. So whenever he meets Yaira, he's basically thrown into her and they like hit each other and then they start going at it, right? So it was like an accident how they like meet each other, but I thought it was done really well. And I thought it was pretty funny how they ended it. He talks about people flying, and he was tired of people holding him up like a rag doll or something. I thought that was funny. And then she like drops him, and he talks about not being able to fly right here. And then he lands on the car, and he's like, "Yeah, I can't fly." Right. So that was probably one of my favorite scenes of the book, and I loved like basically every second right up until that point. It's not that I didn't like the rest of the book. It to me it just his motivation. I mentioned this in my other video. His motivation felt off to me. Because he goes to the hospital after that, right? And then he escapes from the hospital. And then he doesn't go home or anything. He kind of just goes right back, I believe. I don't think he goes to his sister's house until after he goes a second time. Yeah, he goes back, and the reason he goes back, and they say it on here, he's like, he doesn't seem to care about Jasmine that much at this point. He's more so like, the way Darren talked to me, or he's not going to let them do that to me, or something like that. So, which was fine. I mean, I get it. There's probably I know there's going to be some like backstory with that. Like it's personal at that point, and they kind of mention that in the book, which I get it. But at the same time, like after he goes there a second time, and then basically things happen, and he's not able to get anything done. He goes to his sister's house, and then they talk about him being able to, like, they know him and they know his sister and everything. So now it seems like he put them in danger after doing that, and it seems like it would have been fine if he wouldn't have went that second time. To me, I looked at it like, and by the way, I read this twice. So that really didn't stand out to me the first time I read it. I really picked it up the second time I read it, whenever it lacked motivation. So that's kind of where I was getting at in my original review. It seemed like he was putting his sister and his niece in danger by going back there, all for the fact of how Darren talked to him. To me, that was what felt a little bit off. And I know, and I mentioned this in my other view as well, is I know they're going to mention that in another issue and make it make better sense. I'm sure they're going to do that, but for this particular issue, that didn't fall in line. I would have thought that he would have probably went another route. Another thing that it could have happened is he didn't think that far ahead, or he didn't know how powerful Darren was. Maybe that was another reason why he went back after him, because they kind of allude to that as well. And then I believe they're trying to express like how powerful this guy actually is. So that could have been another reason why he just wasn't thinking it all through, and he didn't realize, like, he hasn't been in city in a long time, so maybe he just didn't realize how powerful he actually was. So like I said, that was my only like main issue with it. I loved the action, I loved the dialogue, the character development was solid. It was an all-around good book. One other thing I wanted to point out, so I said this in my other review, so whenever I said something happens, so he goes and basically he wants to get his suit back. So he goes to the place that made the suits, which I like, by the way. There's like this corporation that makes the suits and makes them specific to what you want and how you want it to look and all that stuff. And I thought that was really cool. I like that. Like he wants it back and he tries it on and it's right here. And he says it still fits. I kind of wish they would have just ended it right there. That would have been like, whoa, that's cool. That was our first look of him actually in his suit. I thought that would have been a cool ending, and they do put another scene there towards the end, which, like I said, like I've been saying, that was fine. Like I liked that. I liked where they're going. Like it's more character introductions and stuff like that, which is great. Clearly, it feels like there's like people from other universes here, it's people that aren't from around here that's got some pretty good powers, right? Which is really cool. I just thought it would have been more impactful if they would have ended it right after he put the suit on. Those are my only two like main issues. Other than that, this was a very, very solid book for me. From start to finish, like I said, the first half of the book was I loved the first half of the book. I thought the second half went down a little bit, but like I said, I think other issues is going to probably elevate this one a little bit more. So I don't know. Those are just my takes on it, and I'm curious to know what your guys' thoughts were of this. So have you guys read this? Let me know in the comments below what you thought of it as well. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like and also subscribe for more of these. And I will see you guys next time.